Hey, we've been working on putting our MERN application under GitHub. We have a client side, we have a server side. So far, we've put the client side under GitHub, and we're going to put the server side under GitHub today, and it's going to be a little bit trickier than the client was, but not much. We're going to start by creating a new repository. You can hit this plus button here. There's different ways you can do it, and I will try to give it a similar name, employee records, but I'm going to clearly identify that it's the server side. Everything else we can go with the default. It's going to create the repository, and it's going to pop up some instructions that more or less we're going to follow, but not exactly. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to go into our server directory, and yours will look similar to this, but I think I have a couple extra files. You're going to create this .getignore and readme.md, and I'm going to show you what should be in them. You might see these files a level up above, depending on how you originally created the server. They might be hanging around somewhere else, so you might be able to find them. But don't worry if you can't, you can create them from scratch. So .getignore, put in that file, node modules, config.env, build, and coverage. And let's just check out our syntax there to make sure it's all good. And we have to make a fix here. You can see I have this as incorrect. The slash goes in front of the directory, of course. So we're going to say, do not put under GitHub the node modules. That's like a ton of code that contains default frameworks that are pulled down from the web. So we do not want to put those under GitHub. We don't want to put the config.env file under GitHub either, because it has the password, the MongoDB username and password in it. So we don't want that one to be exposed at all. And you know, we don't really have a build or a coverage directory yet, but let's say that they're ignored as well, because that's what we did on the client. So that is that file. Readme.md is even easier. It's really just a comment file, and you can put 2 sharp signs to begin your comment. And you might, if you find the original one that came kind of with this project, you could put that there. It had some sort of nice instructions there about how to run. But if you don't, just put a couple of sharp signs and say MERN example server side or something like that. Okay, so that's done. What we're going to do is we're going to bring up a command prompt or a terminal window, and we're going to change into the server side, and we're going to start issuing the commands to put this thing under GitHub. Okay, so we're going to start by following what they say to do over there. We're in the server directory, and we're just going to do a git init. We don't have to do the get add readme because we already have it. The next one we're going to do is do a get. Hold on a second. The next thing we're going to do is do a get add dot to put all these files to kind of identify all the files that are going under GitHub. The next thing we're going to do the get commit -m, as it shows over in the instructions there. Get commit -m double quote. I'll just say something different. I don't know why. Initial commit. That should do that. And then we're going to do git branch -m main. Just over in the side here, I'm just comparing it to what we did before. Looks good. And we're almost there. We're going to do this command where we kind of connect it to the actual repository. So I'm going to cut and paste this one. Try that again. looks good. And then the final thing we're going to do is the push. Okay. Looks good. Ah, forgot the word get. Get push minus u. Origin main. That looks good. So if we go over to here, if we just refresh, we see it should look different. And it looks like we have our files under GitHub. Great. We are done putting the server under GitHub. In another video, we'll show how we work with Git to do version controls on files.